Hello, Val Verde. Welcome back to another movie commentary. This week we are doing Alien: Covenant. The colon's very important, as you will see. Lots of rectal examinations in this one. Welcome. So, yes, if you haven't been here before, we talk about movies, we do all that sort of stuff. I'm trying to tickle the algorithm and SEO fairies with all my words right now. Alien Covenant commentary, Alien Covenant commentary. I can't say it. And Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers. There you go. That'll get all the likes and all the views and all the what have yous. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to all you beautiful, wonderful people out there who love to sit and listen to two idiots say bum about a movie an awful lot. I'm Duncan Casey, actor, producer, writer, raconteur, because that just sounds like fun to say. And to my left or right, depending on the internet, is Richard Jackson.
Friend, commentary friend. Commentary friend. Hello.
Yes, cinematographer, director of photography, that's the same thing.
Yeah, but people don't seem to know that, so sometimes I can trade on that and put it on my CV, both words.
Twice.
So, he does that, does he? So
that as well?
Both those things, yeah, absolutely.
I both direct the photography and cinema.
I cinematography.
Very good.
I hate this film and it's dreadful. Should I say? We know that.
Should we just put that? Yeah, let's lay it out
Yeah.
up front. We both think this is dog toilet, but
but it's the
not
work of auteur genius Ridley Scott. What are you talking about? Everything he does is brilliant.
well, this one's about pontificating crap.
He's seen a Bible or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's about Jesus or whatever. Should we crack on?
let's crack on.
I'm in charge of. I'm pulling the trigger on the play button, so
Yes.
I'm gonna. Folks at home, your copy or stream of Alien Covenant. Get ready to press play on the word turn. 3, 2, 1, turn. That's right. It's a Terminator 2 reference.
It is. We use that every time, don't we?
We use it for more stuff than this as well.
We found out, who was it? Michelle recently also shares our love of Batrazis.
Batrazis, yeah, Michelle, the great Michelle Sue, fellow
Yes.
cinematographer, yeah. Brought up her Batrazis during the shoot, which made us very happy.
Indeed. She's the other one.
Yes,
That's
yeah, all
terrific.
three of us, yeah. So, look...
Much like the Coke recipe, it was dangerous to have us in the same room.
Exactly. If there was some kind of airstrike, we can't go on a flight together.
Yeah.
I do like the Scott-free ident.
I do as well. It's
I'm
quite.
a big fan of it. Lovely kind of wacky oil-painted stop-motion thing.
It's sort of like
lovely.
if Wallace and Gromit were caught in a vice.
Right. as observed by someone with cataracts. That's it. I mean, you're on bad footing when you start off by complimenting the ident.
That's the best thing I can say about this. Is the ident's pretty. Yeah.
It's the first one where the BFG comes in a river, isn't it? This is Shaw and the girl with the dragon tattoo and Mr. Roboto.
No, she's not in it.
no,
She's just a Muslim.
She's in the flashbacks, isn't she? Is she not? Okay.
No, I don't think. Well, I'm not sure if they're flashbacks or if they're just bits from. Or maybe they are. I can't.
Because didn't they have them arriving? Anyway, I'm wrong because it's not. It's younger Wayland and David. Is what it is. And this looks amazing because these films do look amazing.
Oh yeah.
And the music's lovely as well. And because this is a really frustrating. I think this cold open that brings back Guy Pearce as he should have been, looking like he does instead of being in comedy old man makeup.
Yeah.
Really feels like a kind of 70s sci-fi thing, and this is a discussion about, essentially what makes a man. Is it slavery? Can you give something intelligence and then make it bring you tea, even though it's demonstrably superior to you in a number of ways? And
like Alien was trying to say.
but instead, how about some stupid scientists putting their urethras against poisonous plants or whatever?
I think this one feels like it was very much like he was going, well, I'm going to make the next one in the series, and then Fox went, please put Alien in the title, stop all this ambiguous nonsense that isn't ambiguous. You know what I mean? Like it's just sort of.
Well, and also this has the last 15 minutes they do an Alien film in a hurry, and it's like this is all of an Alien film but in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just insane. It's because they have to bring back the xenomorph and stuff. So it's just kind of like, this is one of those situations where it's like, you got it wrong the first time. Don't give them another swing just because money. Because I think probably, I don't know what the numbers were like for Alien prequel, the first Alien prequel. What was that called? Prometheus. But I know I'm pretty sure it did very well because there was just this insane weight of anticipation for it. And I remember I don't know about you, but in the run up to that movie, it was like, oh my God, wow, this is going to be amazing and everything. And I remember being in a packed theatre for it. So I don't know.
I went and saw this with Brad Watson.
Of course you did. Yeah,
and,
that's right.
He loved it, and I thought it was toilet.
Yeah, I thought it was toilet as well. I went to the pub with Brad after he'd seen it, and I was just like, dude, what? No, like no, because it's just so. It really is like, it's a bit like getting the greatest chef in the world to make a rustler burger. You know what I mean? Because if the script is, because this looks amazing, but the script is so dumb. So like, and it doubles down on everyone's complaints from the first one about the characters not behaving like they should because they're scientists. They walk into an alien planet and just go and just start sniffing plants effectively. Well, not really.
It's one of those just raises further questions that no one actually. It's like, oh, now it's a spore. Whatever it is a spore, but it's not. But it is, but it's not.
Yeah. And also it was kind of like, oh, we're going to take you to the engineer. Sorry, my mic just drooped like a kind of metaphor for erectile dysfunction. We're going to take you to the engineer homeworld, or at least an outpost of their society. No, they're all dead. And it's like, oh well, that was the interesting. It's like, oh no, don't reveal too much about the engineers. It's like, what, in the way you revealed too much about the xenomorph? Well, it's like, don't suddenly have that opinion about your fucking precious creatures.
That was the whole setup of the end of Prometheus as well. Like, I want to go and find out why they hate us so much. It's like,
I want to suck your blood.
Blood. And no me rupas. Rapace.
No me rapace. I don't know.
And off she flung to the space. But like, it was like, that was stupid, but it just feels like in between films they realised that was stupid and were like, oh, I'll just kill them all in a flashback. Yeah. And they have this sort of weird Pompeii like thing where they're all kind of frozen and dead.
That's
which didn't happen to anyone else who encountered that goo. Everyone else just disintegrated. But that's what I mean, this fucking MacGuffin gunk. It's like, what is it? What does it do? Like, I can't get behind it. I can't be afraid of it because it's just like, well,
it's just general purpose bad. Because this is the thing, right? Like, so like having them frozen like Pompeii, like a forest of the dead.
Yeah,
that's cool. Almost like a horror film. God forbid we make one of those in the Alien franchise.
Yeah, I know.
And that's neat. That's cool. That's a good image. But unfortunately, it's just plonked in this weird soup of dumbitude.
Yeah.
Do you get to see James Franco getting roasted though, which is kind of great?
That's so weird that he's in this for like virtually no time.
Well, it's because him and Danny McBride are kind of mates, and it's lovely. It's really nice to see Danny McBride doing a straight role.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of time for Danny McBride. I'm not as enamoured to his humour as some people are, but it's nice to see him playing it straight. And again, dude, Fassbender's so good in this. Like in the dual role, he's really great.
But it's in service of, yes, but it's in service of just sort of utter fart huffing nonsense. You know what I mean? It's just,
yes, but what about Catholicism and Jesus or something? And it's so fucking sixth form lightweight.
Yeah.
Like if this was a fucking sixth form screenwriting project, you'd be like, okay, great fan fiction, but this gets an A because you're 16. Not here's $200 million. Off you get.
It is just that thing of, look, put Ridley Scott's name on it and Alien in the title and we'll make a load of money. And it's like, oh. And that's like, see the design of those sails and stuff like that. It's all very, and Ridley Scott's the kind of person who would go like, well, I consulted with a fucking nuclear physicist and he said, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, Or he'd go like, the Mayans. I found a drawing in a cave that no one knows about, that only I know about because I'm brilliant. The Mayans drew that shape, and it was a shape that was. It's like, shut up! No one cares. Why?
It doesn't mean anything.
Why should I give a shit? Like, and what annoys me is, it's like, you made a really great film, but I've said this so many times, that Alien, if you take away that batshit heinous in the anus fucking design by Giga, what is it? What is it?
It's Star Beast. It's Dan O'Bannon's Star Beast, is what it is, which is a kind of schlocky B movie, probably would have been a Corman thing.
Exactly. And it's got, don't get me wrong, behind it is some great cinematography and some beautiful visual storytelling and everything. But it is, again, it's in service of a sort of, a slashery, gruey alien film. And it's like, that's all it was. Like, what, all this bollocks with like, the origin of man. It's like, who gives a fuck?
I'm off to eat a frozen fetus for me tea.
Yum, yum,
yum, yum, yum. Wake up, your fetus is ready. It's me, Michael Fassbender.
I think I stood too close to the microwave. Is that what you eat, babies?
Babies. I just have a little one. It's like human caviar. It's a fetus. Not how he sounds in this film or in real life. Yeah. But why not?
It's fun to imagine.
Because it's fun to do. Look at him, he's in his Assassin's Creed.
That annoys me though, because it's like his face is clearly lit from within the hood.
Oh, like the space helmets. Yeah, they do that a lot, right? They love the. I just found out. Sorry, on a kind of sidebar, something I never really thought about, but is obviously true. When Schwarzenegger was Mr. Freeze, they put LEDs in his mouth in 1997, which is like, now I'd be like, yeah, okay, miniaturized batteries, circuit boards and stuff, but they put it in his mouth and it pissed battery acid into his mouth.
No way.
Yeah, so that made me think of the, of course, most films with space helmets now have the kind of lined with LEDs thing. Because I think, Inside of the Covenant is great. It's a bit more in the vein of the Nostromo, right? It's still a bit futuristic and techy, more so than you should have in a prequel, really. I still think they I'm not buying into, the Prometheus looked this way, but the Nostromo later was so backward by comparison. It's just like, no, dude, stick to your aesthetic.
Well, what annoys, exactly, and I agree with that, and it annoyed me with Prometheus and with this, and it's like, and that would be hand-waved by Scott, because he would go, well, that's a mining vessel, and this is like a Cadillac or whatever, and it's like, what are you talking about? Like, why wouldn't the mining vessel have, like, it doesn't make any sense for someone to go to the 70s and find a computer to put in their fucking mining vessel.
Exactly. Stick with your retrofuturism. It's retrofuturistic. Do that. Exactly. Basically. Ridley Scott, stop making more. Hopefully the Disney acquisition means they won't make any more. They did do those Alien shorts though, didn't they?
Did they?
That went to maybe Steam or something weird like that, but they made a bunch of Alien shorts by different directors, and it's like, oh, all right, I'm down for that.
Why have they zip-tied his hands together?
In case he gets away. He's a pepperami man, like the one Ed Edmondson plays, and he's a bit of an animal. It's a metaphor for pure donkey anus.
I saw sunshine. The burned man is evil.
The pepperami man is evil. Did you know Ridley Scott only eats some petrol stations? It's the secret to his longevity. He has
microwave burgers.
Microwave burgers,
Ginsters.
Pink Fanta, Ginsters. Sometimes he eats flowers to get his screens. Yeah. Petrol station daffodils.
It depends. If it stops at BP, they do have M&S.
Well, he's a millionaire, so now he exclusively goes to the Wild Bean Cafe.
Exactly.
He has him flown over from England to his house in LA. Bunch of multi-pack of peperamis.
Yeah.
And some Rothmans, obviously, so he can have a nice smoke.
So this is not
the character is Daniels, isn't it? She's called Daniels. Who plays her? Oh no, yeah, James Franco's dead.
He loved it.
It's me, James Franco. I love being alive. Don't turn me into a pepperami man. That'd be sad.
My biggest fear, for some reason.
My biggest fear. As a vegan, I'm terrified of becoming a pepperami man. That's not even very high up. He's just standing.
Yeah.
You just can't see the rest of it. Yeah, I actually, do you know what? I think she's great, and I think the layup here is great in that because it kind of gets lost in the crush though, because she's the only one who's experienced tragedy, so she's isolated from the rest of them, right? And the point is they're couples. It's a mission of couples designed to go, see the colony, and she's been robbed of that. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because they're all going to die. So it gets kind of lost in the crush, but she sells it wonderfully. She's really, and then the award for best actor goes to.
We searched high and low, but finally we settled on Nathan's name. Isn't her name Elizabeth something? I'll check it out.
Every drama school in the country until we were recommended for Imagine that no one remembers your name.
Oh, mate. Well, no one does remember. Catherine Waterston.
Catherine Waterston, heir to the Waterstones book.
No, but not Waterstone, Waterston.
Oh, yeah, no, that's the Waterstone family captured it from them in a bloody civil war. Did you know that? That's good, because it's not true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so this is the, we get Country Roads, right?
Yeah. That Shaw is singing on a planet. It's all a bit. All this setup is is massively contrived. There's some sort of Noah's Arky type thing, shooting off to some world. What they're gonna go and populate. I mean, sounds pretty good to me. Is that Jussie Smollett?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, they're all off to another planet. Is that? Yeah, it is as well. It's Jussie Smollett. You might know him from such places as prison.
Yeah, you might know him from such projects as lying. Fucking dickhead.
Yeah. Anyway, they're all off to repopulate some other planet, which is pretty cool. But and then they just happen to get hit by a solar flare from some rando place, and then whilst repairing it, they hear her singing Country Road on a space radio or whatever.
Spadio,
if you will, and then go, well, that's good enough for me. Let's go there. Yeah. And, do you know what I mean? It's like
there is a discussion. There is a debate to give them that. They discuss like, hey, look, we could go there because the ship's busted, or we could crack on, and they decide to go there.
Yeah.
Because I think the layup is like, a human song is coming from too deep in space to possibly no one else has been there yet or whatever.
Yeah.
Fine. Unfortunately, Predator 2 style, we know why. So it's kind of like. Also, I think she should have been singing "Me So Horny" by Two Live Crew, but that's just me.
That would have been better.
That's Two Live Crew. Me so horny, me so horny.
Me so horny too. Let's go over there.
It's in space.
Yeah, God forbid that any of them have a domestic or split up on this journey, because that wouldn't go down well.
I think that's why they're mostly. That's why they're mostly frozen.
Right.
Is like, so they can't have rows. Yeah. It's not even that far. It's just like, dude, we can't have these fuckers rowing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right, everybody gets the same dishes. Everyone uses the same iron. Everybody has the same cleaning utensils. No one can argue, right?
Everyone watches the same program at 9 o'clock.
Same TV, complete division of labour, not along lines of gender. They'll still fucking argue.
Yeah.
They'll still fucking argue.
You didn't take the bins out.
It's me, Michael, or David, or whatever.
Or whatever.
Eat your faces. Look, it's chains like an alien. Do you remember the film Alien?
Yes, I do.
It's like an alien. It's chains like an alien.
I know.
And industrial stuff like an alien.
It's also like in friggin' Prometheus, isn't it? Because they've got that sort of hanger with the space digger in it.
Space digger. Yeah, it's like that. Again, it's just this insane thing, because it's just the most insanely top-notch art design, production design, sound. I've always loved the Prometheus theme. This kind of blorts that a little bit with the infamous "I'll do the fingering" scene.
Yeah,
and it's a bit like the Simpsons theme tune playing to the characters in diegetically inside an episode of the Simpsons.
Yeah.
whatever. Fine. Fine.
But this is everything so over. So like that torch can't just be a torch. It has to be a torch with 3 beams or however many beams of light coming out. It's like, well, how does that help anyone? And why would it?
Because it's 3 centuries in the future or something.
Well,
it's a beam per century.
I consulted with a torch specialist.
One beam's the Father, one's the Son, and one's the Holy Ghost, and the other 2 are spare ghosts that are in the double Bible. Because I'm Ridley Scott.
I spoke to Tom Cruise.
It's
and my torch specialist. Do you mean your DOP? Yeah.
Yes. One of them's a Scientology beam, and one's a Casper the Friendly Ghost beam.
And one is John Travolta's dick.
John Travolta's. Every fetus is John Travolta's dick.
What? It's so weird.
Oh my God. John.
Sandy.
I'd quite like to watch the Travolta Alien film. Why not? Makes as much sense as anything else right now.
Oh God, it's such bum dribble. And it goes on and on and on. And it doesn't, the thing is, like you say, it just results in a kind of slapdash 3rd or possibly 4th act Alien film. But it just doesn't, like I remember in the trailer, there's a really great stuff with the couple in the shower and the alien, and that's all lit and shot really nicely and scary. Yeah. It looks horrible, but it's kind of, it's just overshadowed by the fact that it's in service of nothing. It's just sort of like, it's just...
It's like yet another example of a scene from a better film.
Yeah.
The one we always go back to is the kind of body horror one from the 2014 RoboCop, right? It's like a scene from a better film slapped in the middle of their movie.
Yeah.
And the shower thing is really brilliantly done, but it's in service of nothing, and it's just kind of like, and it's, do you know what, the kind of people dying during sex is fine, whatever, but it's very Friday the 13th, kind of summer camp type stuff. And it's like, okay, all right, because the relationship between sex and death, Freud or whatever, like, but the relationship between sex and death is in the horror cinema.
Yeah.
Insanely well worn and trodden, and a big part of how that's done, but it doesn't really have any weight. I don't even particularly recall much about the characters that happens to, other than they suddenly do an alien film at the end and they have to clear deck of all these people so Daniels can go off and be frozen with David.
Yeah. But then it ends in the whole thing of him going, oh, shush, I am really David. Ha ha ha, I'm really David. You're going really to David. Fucking day.
I turned all your fetuses to licorice. What you going to do about that?
I think as well, like this, like what's his name? Not Arthur. Walter. He's got an American accent, just so that Fassbender can do a fucking American accent. It's got no bearing on, like, why would he? What he looks the same.
I kind of like it because I don't know. I'll go into bat for that as a decision. In that
I won't.
You won't. David was flawed, and they've changed him, and it needs to be a differentiation between the older one. He's got a different name, and they're mass producing them now, and it's probably like a marketing decision. Like, I get, because obviously Ian Holm wasn't American, but then Bishop was. Bishop was a mass produced one, and Ian Holm wasn't.
Yeah, but
not that I'm in any hurry to defend this. I just kind of liked that. I liked the thing with the 2 accents.
Well, I guess the point of it, from the film's point of view, is so you can discern between them, and also so that you can.
And he can have his deception at the end
and
everything. And but I'm sure there's something that doesn't add up there relating to, like, because it's all about, because when it comes down to it, you're watching out for wounds on them, aren't you, to tell who's who.
Yeah, because I think Walter gets wounded, doesn't he get his hand cut off or something?
I think he loses his hand, but I swear David gets like a cut on the face or something, and then there's something I remember not quite adding up about that. But I didn't care enough to investigate. So
who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit?
Why does his... Okay, here's a question for you. Why do their helmets have inside them what looks like, and I could be wrong, buttons? How would he press them?
They've all got really long tongues.
They all have head daubers that come out of them.
They got prehensile tongues, and when they press it, a bit of like licorice comes out for them to have a chew on.
Yeah.
Or some space water. Yeah, I don't know. I never noticed the buttons inside the buttons inside the thing. Because Billy Crudup's character, right? His whole thing is faith.
Yeah,
because he's the Christian one, and before, Girl with a Dragon Tattoo was the Christian one.
That's right.
And it was about her faith, but now it's about his faith. And he kind of goes like, "Oh, but God though," and then dies. And that's what I remember.
Yeah.
This is where he gets a face full of
Face full of
West
repasts.
Virginia. A face full of repasts and Denver sandwich right in my face. As he was known to say. I think because the theory behind solar sails is real. Like that's solar sails. So I think it's one of these things that got into the popular consciousness and then later sci-fi did solar sails.
Right.
So they did solar sails. But this one looks like a Mayan pie or whatever.
The Aztecs built them out of wicker or whatever.
Wicker. They went to the moon and built pyramids and predators are in them or something.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it's fucking yeah. No, what? Yeah, because what's the solar sail thing? There's all that stuff about like you could literally, if we found a meteor or something heading for Earth, you could spray one side of it white, and that would be enough to deflect it.
Oh, so the radiation of the sun.
Yeah, it would like deflect and push it off, of course, which is pretty cool.
So we've made a huge hose that we're going to deploy in space. Elon Musk has sent a hose to space full of milk in case there's an asteroid.
Yeah.
Or sent a hose to space full of milk, mate.
I put the cow on the moon. That'll do.
With his udders pointed upwards.
Yeah.
It's full of that Tesla technology. This is how I sound. I'm Elon Musk. I scream milk the cow at the asteroid.
It's played by Joss Eklund.
Exactly, precisely. So I think that's just kind of quite on trend, which is kind of like just glomming onto it, which is fine. A huge issue with that in particular.
See, none of that matters, but it's also procedural. I think Ridley Scott concerns himself a lot with the procedural. He fiddles about with the visuals, but to the point where they're sort of indecipherable, and it's sort of so vague, and you're supposed to go, oh look, I can see iconography in that small part of the computer readout or whatever, and if you look at them standing on your head with your bollocks around your eyes, it looks like a fucking cross or whatever. And like the alien comes out of Billy Crudup and does a little crucifix pose. And it's
my god, I know, and that feels like a bit from like a music video or something, isn't it?
It looks like Earth Song. It's like
that's from Michael Jackson, not from Billy Crudup.
Well, as you know, Michael Jackson was an alien, so
a black hole. It's we're not even on the planet yet, but it is a merciful 2 hours. I can't remember. Was there? Which today
seems like like you say, is merciful. Like it's
there was a time when that was too long.
Having seen the Batman recently, it does feel quite pacey.
Oh, what you didn't like the Batman, you racist? That's what racists say.
Is it?
Liking the Batman?
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Better get me Confederate flag out then. And, drive the General Lee to the. Imagine if you did that in this country. It wouldn't mean anything anyway. I miss the South. So go fucking live there.
I've got hold on. Yeah, so Prometheus is 2 hours 4, which I'm sure we spoke to at the time. It's a couple of months ago since we did the Prometheus commentary. But that's 2 hours 4, and that also feels long. Like a long
tedious garbage.
Tedious garbage. Fart huffing crap.
Perfunctory nonsense.
Well, I love it. It's because there was a time where it's like kind of like, oh man, those Alien versus Predator movies were so bad, but Ridley Scott's coming to sort it all out. Wah, 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 wah. No.
Yeah, Neil Blomkamp can fuck right on.
Yeah. Well, that was, there's a narrative was for a time that James Cameron and Ridley Scott were teaming up for what was to become Prometheus, and that was in the offing for years.
Is that really true, or is that some Billy bullshit? Sort of?
Well, I think
this time it's going to be a lady Terminator.
It's going to be a lady alien.
And the Terminator's going to have sex with an alien.
It's going to have a king alien with a big willy.
It might as well.
King alien. I'm joking, but that's definitely in a comic.
They did definitely make a toy of that, I think, or something like the King Alien. I'm sure they did that.
Okay, it's like the fucking rhinoceros one or whatever.
For cunts.
For cunts. I think the narrative was that, at the very least, Ridley Scott wanted to do what became Prometheus, and I'm sure he talked about interviews and stuff, but then Alien vs Predator for Fox was 45 million or something, and he wanted like 100 million in 2000s money or 90s money for what became these movies, or the first one. So they went with Alien vs Predator, and it was like, we were robbed, and it was like, you were robbed twice, mate. That's what actually happened. Someone burgled your house while someone else nicked your car, and they both did shits where they used to stand.
Well, again, it's, I remember seeing that Paul W.S. Anderson pitch thing that was on, like, I think it was on the DVD or something for Alien vs Predator, that went on for a long time, and he was like, but all it was him going, these are shuriken, and they come out, and it's longer this time, and he's got blades, but they're longer, and it's just like, right. And they live in a pyramid. The pyramid looks like this.
It's a man getting paid a lot of money because he likes ninjas and pyramids.
Yeah, and it was kind of, it was just like, but what does it mean? What does any of it mean?
And it's as, do you know what? It's as weighty as this, except instead of the man liking shurikens and pyramids, it's a man saying, ooh, what about the Bible? And because it's the Bible, that's suddenly intellectually on some other kind of tier. That's like this kind of really clever thing to do, actually.
It really isn't, though. I mean, this is the thing. It's kind of, it's just, I just don't care about these films like this. For me, none of it matters. Like it's much like the Terminator films. We've just been bombarded with terrible sequels, and it's like you've just gotten away. You've lost the plot. You've lost the point of any of it, and it's kind of like, you didn't have to. That's what frustrates me. Is it's like that didn't have to happen. You could have made these intelligently. But no. And
again, with this money, look how nice it looks.
I'll never work for Fox.
No one will, because they're owned by Disney, so
that's
true.
It.
Don't worry about it. Just don't piss Disney off. I think they're happy to let this go dormant for a while, all things considered. There was a category of film where I would have to go see it to review it, and Ivan never would have bothered. And what would happen is I would watch it, come back and go, oh my God, it's so bad, you have no idea. And then we'd watch it together on streaming some months later, and he'd go, oh my God, it is so bad. And this is one of those. And it was like the Terminator movies, I think fucking Rise of Skywalker. There's a bunch of them, these big, like Suicide Squad, these big modern day clunkers. That they would be filtered through me to him, and then we'd watch them through streaming, and I'd be going like, see, I told you. And he's like, well, it really is dreadful. And I was like, I know. And it's just kind of this cycle, the cycle begins anew every time they release something else.
I mean, I just, it's so emblematic of, like, and it's shrouded in this cloak of beautiful cinematography and special effects and everything, but it's emblematic of all these problems that they have, where they just keep trying to wheel out these tired old, I hate to say it, but franchises, and they're just replicating the dropship stuff from Aliens, but I'm doing it better.
Because I'm more clever than the Bible.
Did I mention the Bible? Because the Bible.
What if Jesus fell to Earth in a spaceship and shouted?
Can I have £1 million now?
Checks in the post, Ridley. Checks in the post. Yeah, it's. What did he just? Oh, because he just did this. He just did the movie about the Gucci's, didn't he?
The what?
The Gucci's, the fashion house. The
Gucci's. No, my brain's not working. But everyone, I've got a cold today, so
Duncan's sick. Duncan's sick as a dog. The Gucci family, the Gucci's, and I saw,
what?
What? That was
3
the one.
Hours of perineum.
Liam Neeson starring role is perineum Neeson. The Gucci's. You know when someone puts like boggly eyes on their chin and turns their head upside down.
Yeah.
That, but Gucci's basically.
Right. Yes.
Just, all these stars just with their perineum.
Winking arsehole.
Winking assholes. From what I can see, with all these, it's a bunch of like really famous, well-known actors going, "I'm making the pizza." like it's not. It doesn't look, or it's like, it's one of those things. Like Enemy at the Gates, for example, where they all have like American or British accents.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, we're not going to get them all doing accents speaking English. We're just going to, and there's a bunch like Chernobyl.
Yeah.
For example, as well, Just do that. Have Adam Driver going, Mamma Mia! And that's the one that made him. He did Old Man Yells at Cloud Over Marvel movies. That was his one.
It's just a perfect example of failing upwards, isn't it? That whole thing. It's just like, well, you know, like they all say, like, "Oh, Lady Gaga's a triumph." It's like, is she though? I mean, like, not to throw shade at her or anything, because I thought she was good in A Star Is Born. Not my cup of tea.
I was going to say, did you? Because I haven't watched that, and people say that's very, very good, but I haven't seen it.
It's not my thing. You know what? It's not aimed at me either. It's very sort of emotionally overwrought, and it's all kind of like, my husband has a drinking problem, and he's so in pain all the time, and oh my God, and it's just like. Right. These problems
and then, of course,
matter.
at the end, the full-size Lady Gaga has to come out of a woman's vagina because A Star Is Born.
Indeed, yes, out of her star.
She comes out her bum.
It does.
Well, that's the twist. Everybody thought the star in the original version, of course, because it's a remake. The star came out of a lady's fanny, but in this, it comes out of Bradley Cooper's bum.
Yeah,
a man's bum. Did you know that?
A man's bum. Yeah,
MTV trivia.
It's and she's good in that. Like, you know, it's like, that's not my point, and I haven't seen the Gooches, but and I'm not in a very charitable mood today, so it could be that. But it's just I just feel like it's kind of like, she's the best actor ever, and it's like there's probably a million other actresses out there who would have been better qualified. You know, easier to work with. I'm not saying she's hard to work. I don't know, but you know what I mean. Like, it wouldn't have required quite so much training, because it's not like she was an actress beforehand. And now she's just this sort of awards darling, and you go, what? Why? Like, why are we engineering?
It's kind of frustrating when it's someone who's already had the bite of the cherry. I mean, the irony of doing A Star Is Born with someone who's had a massively successful global pop career.
Quite.
Doesn't show a lot of self-awareness, but clearly Bradley Cooper and Bradley Cooper directed that, and apparently it's a very brilliantly directed film.
Yeah, it is, and he's fantastic in it. You know, that's what I mean. I don't really want to throw shade at them particularly, but but like you say, it is that thing of, I suppose, in my embittered way, it's these people who've had a bite of the cherry. It's like Harry Styles is really good in Dunkirk. Fuck off! Give that to someone who deserves it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like great, brilliant. Wonderful.
It's not like he had a lot to do in Dunkirk.
No, he says like three words and sits on a train. It's not fucking hard. Sorry,
Disease Duncan is not having it at all. Oh, it's space corn. Should I put it in my bum or something?
Maybe in Soviet space, corn fucks you. Corn holes you.
Corn holes you.
I know, because they've literally just gone beep boop. Air is breathable. Let's just walk around.
Let's crack on, because as you well know, Duncan, air purifies all toxins and pathogens.
Yes,
there's
exactly.
no way. It's just the same. And do you know what? I think what annoyed me about this is it felt like such a slap in the face, because it takes everything people complained about and it doubles down on it.
Yeah.
And you know, on one hand, good on you for sticking to your guns, but not if the thing you're sticking to your guns over is fucking dumb, which it is.
Yeah.
Too bad. That location work is incredible.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's incredible, and they've got I think it's like Norway or Iceland, or I don't know. I'm ignorant, but you know, they kind of, and I like, because they're in like an oppressive atmosphere, right? Because it's very humid, but it's cold and it's wet, and it reminds me quite a bit of being in the Scottish Highlands, actually, at the wrong time of year or the right time of year, depending how mad you are. You know, and all that, and it's the same thing with the other. They did all that amazing kind of location work in the other one, didn't they?
They did do that really good thing of sort of what's the word? Not democratizing, but kind of. But you know, it's like everyone in it is. You know, you've got just sort of basically soccer mums and stuff who are sort of working all the machinery. You know what I mean? Like, and I like that because it kind of makes it. Yeah, and you know, these space travel and that is so sort of. It's not, you know, not any old dickhead can do it, but it's like these people are well trained and obviously intelligent, except for when they went on the planet with no mask. But
except for writing, they were. You know, this is the thing, and I think it's a discredit to normal people, where it's just like, and the thing is, in Prometheus, they were fucking scientists.
Yeah,
it does what it does do is. It harkens back to the space trucker thing. It's a twist on the space trucker thing, isn't it, from Alien? In that they're essentially not. These are a bit. You probably argue. You might say like middle class because they're just kind of ordinary people who've gone off to set up a home. Whereas the Alien has class conflict in it because there's kind of the sort of officers and the kind of more blue collar people, and but they're ordinary schmucks. And these guys, they are like soccer mums and stuff like you say, who've had specialist training to operate a spaceship because the practice of colonising distant worlds is quite common. And as long as they know, and they've got a robot with them to help them, they're going to be fine. So they're ordinary people. Great. And it's kind of the intrigue of Alien. One of the great things about Alien is getting into it, and it's kind of like, this is really grimy, and it's not Flash Gordon. It's not even Star Wars. Star Wars was grimy around a similar time, but it's ultimately about an Arthurian legend or a Wild West story or a fairy tale. Whereas Alien is kind of like a bunch of people whose bosses really suck, who have to deal with a giant angry scorpion in space that pisses acid.
Yeah, basically. With swords for penises and
penis. Do they really? There's not really a lot of. Because they kind of. Obviously, Prometheus has the big pyramid, is all vagina. And then there's David's lair in this, but it's more like because they use they use Giger's concept art, don't they? Use like David's sketches, because David's kind of
something like that,
sketched all of the, and the thing he's turned. What was fucking girl with the dragon tattoos? Sure, the thing they've turned her into is like one of those. It's like one of those Victorian vivisection kind of preserved things, like it's kind of looks like she's been turned into wood. And she's got kind of sunken eyes. It's really fucking horrible, which is great. That's what you want.
Oh, yeah.
Nasty. Got to get spores in his cock.
This is why you shouldn't smoke.
Unless you're Ridley Scotch.
I love how he's just looking at them as well, being like, oh, it's cool.
Look at this fine normal thing.
Gauze in his ear.
He doesn't know what's going on, does he?
But why any of this? Like, so spores can go in your ear and an alien comes out your back. It's like, why do we need a face hugger then? Why any of it? What is that doing?
It's in terms of the alien thing, it's a bit like the hologram displays, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like this feels, it's organic, so advanced isn't the word, but it feels too complex compared to what's come before, and it's supposed to take place before.
Yeah.
And also we're getting up to the revelation that essentially David created the xenomorph, and it's like,
yeah, pretty right. And it annoys me as well because it's all this circuitous way, which we're obviously never going to get the third one. I fucking hope we don't. But we know that this this is all going to circle back on itself, and yet another croissant ship is going to be crashed in yet another place. Full of aliens, and
presumably Daniels will be dead as well, like Shaw was.
Well, yeah, because this ends on. That's the other thing. This ends on her going, "No, David, no," and he's like, "I will kill you in your sleep with my sticks,
my penis,
with my penis," and that's that. And it's kind of like, okay, so that's a Debbie Downer, and then we're going to end up on what? We're going to go to another planet. Peter. Who the fuck's Peter? Whatever his name is. David. There's so many. He's gonna that film the other day. Frankly, it bored the arse off me.
Ridley Scott. That Covenant the other day. Well, if you want to be entertained, you could go see Jean-Michel Jarre or something like that.
Yeah. Not here to entertain you.
Jean-Michel Jarre. Right. Anyway, so
what the hell was it about anyway? Well, it was jeez. I love that. Anyway, it's like, what's he gonna do? What would the third film have been? He just rocks up to some planet, gets off, makes a load of aliens, and goes, I know, I'll get in a croissant ship that isn't here and fly somewhere else and crash. Oh dear, I crashed it. Let's then alien or something. It's like,
what worries me more is that we seem to have, there was this weirdly kind of pretentious thing of like, oh well, we have to, it was a trilogy, the story in 3 stories, everything's a trilogy, and I think maybe Star Wars is what did that, but everything had to be a trilogy, right? So and we've moved past that into where now everything just continues infinitely to you've spent all your money and you're dead. And that's the thing, because on one hand it's like, oh, was he, Ridley's of the old school, Ridley Diddley, he's of the old school, was it going to be a trilogy, or was the plan just to keep going and going and going because now everybody wants a fucking MCU? Was it that, which is so much worse? It's the kind of living death of late stage Simpsons episodes, Yeah, it's that kind of thing. So I don't know what they're going, and I'm not being cruel when I say this, but there's very strong. Well, no, like by the time they sort this out, Ridley Scott might be dead. Like he's in his 80s, man. Like,
True,
isn't he?
yeah.
He's in his 80s, I think.
Yeah, or if not, he's very close to it. Yeah.
I think, like, because I don't know what Fox were thinking with this, because I remember this got fucking a bit of a kicking at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Fox were thinking. What Fox were thinking is irrelevant, but also, oddly enough, Duncan and I are watching this on Amazon Prime, which we had to pay to rent because it's going on Disney Plus in like 2 fucking days. So we're 2 days away from having.
Yeah, it's the 16th. It's like 4 o'clock on the 16th, and it's literally coming out on the 18th. So we're like a day and a bit away from being able to watch it on there. So for God's sake. Yeah.
Well, they have this, they have this situation now where they are they're pulling metrics from Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
Because they could have just given us all of these straight away, and they gave like a smattering of Fox stuff, which they put under Star for some reason.
I think it says on there like owing to other. Because I sent you the picture of it. It's owing to other contract. Like it.
So it was on Netflix or something. I guess.
Yeah, it obviously has a deal somewhere else that's got to conclude first. It's probably a TV deal somewhere that it's been shown on all 4 or something, and then.
Right. So yeah, so they can. Well, there you go then. So they can pull metrics from there, and it's like if suddenly fucking millions of people are watching Commando, they'll make another fucking Commando or whatever from among the Fox stuff.
Yeah.
Because then they have this kind of just direct route to people's thoughts and desires.
But that's sort of a false metric anyway, as far as I'm concerned. Because it's like, well, all right, people are watching it because they love that film. Doesn't mean that hastily, wet farting one out is going to make it.
That's how we got this film.
And also, like, I think people have to remember as well, we're so far away from those films. I mean, how old is Alien now? It's
78. No, it's not 78. It's 1978, so it's getting on for 50 years.
Yeah. And it's like that, it was made at a time when filmmaking was something very different. And it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it in a modern context, but it's like trying to recreate that with modern cinema and modern. It's like, it doesn't. Why are you doing that? Do something else. But just be inventive, for God's sake. It's like there's just no. Everyone thinks that just doesn't work.
This is because of market forces, because they don't want to take risks, do they?
Yeah.
Because they themselves have created a situation where films cost too much money, and it's like, well, maybe stop spending so much fucking money.
Yeah.
Stop relying on the metrics regarding fucking star power and director star power and brand recognition. I don't know, because you could make fucking, if this cost 150 million, you could make 15 $10 million movies, and then you'll get something like Napoleon Dynamite, which had some insanely huge ratio cost to profit, or Halloween had the same thing.
Yeah.
Probably just people are going to call me a boomer, aren't they? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's frustrating, I suppose, because you think, like, they bet the farm on these things. Like Brad said this, I think, they bet the farm so much, and it's like, if you could just stop doing that. Like, the problem is sometimes it pays off, but I mean, the ratio of payoff is probably the same as if you just spent 40 or 50. You know what I mean? Because that's why Deadpool, that's why Logan, that's what, as soon as they stopped spending so much money on them. And those films don't suffer for it. Like, how would I know that put Logan up against Justice League, for example, and tell me the bloody difference in terms of filmmaking quality.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And then it becomes this arms race, to fucking be the big. Because this is the problem. I think it's the insane greed of, like, it's not just making a film. It has to, every film has to be the most successful film ever made.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's pretty unrealistic, man. I'm sorry. It's like, it's just stupid. It's unsustainable. But then someone's always got to fucking satisfy a shareholder or a boss, or, I mean, there's some soulless cunt that just looks at the numbers and probably doesn't even watch the movies.
That's the thing. I mean, in one sense, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at numbers, because obviously these things have to make money and pay for themselves, and the next ones, that's fine. But they should do so through being, like, entertaining and providing value to audiences, and some do, but, like, I just find with this it's kind of I don't know. I suppose as well, I think what might be happening a lot is that you've got a bunch of people who get to untenable positions. I mean, we know this sort of happened with Justice League, with the first one, that Joss Whedon did, where it was like people were trying to keep hold of bonuses, and you think, actually, are these people just trying to make off with a ton of money because they know this is all going down the toilet?
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy and stuff, like, she had some sort of agenda with Star Wars that clearly hasn't paid off. It's like, well, I don't get what you're trying to say. Like, what are you trying to say? Like, these people sort of, again, an example, I think, of someone who sort of really failed upwards. Wasn't she like Spielberg's assistant or something? And now she's...
I would say don't underestimate that Kathleen Kennedy produced some of the most successful and beloved films of the 80s and 90s. And you don't do that by accident. It was Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy. And I think she's become a bit of a punch bag. And don't get me wrong, I don't like modern Star Wars, but she produced like a bunch of the Amblin stuff, loads of really important movies. And now
but that's almost worse, because it's like, well, then how you should know what makes a good movie.
Well, so I don't know to what degree, like, because I'm not going to join in with the fucking internet chorus about like, oh, it's all Kathleen Kennedy's fault. Like, because at the same time you've got The Mandalorian.
Yeah, but I mean, that's...
You know, I mean, like, I don't know quite what that is, but just I do think the whole kind of Kathleen Kennedy's choosing her as kind of a punch bag and just going, oh, well, this is all her fault. I don't really think that's correct. But also, I watched Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Look,
the buck stops with her, whether or not she didn't make all the choices, but I mean, she put those people together. You know, she notoriously fired a bunch of people off of Solo and stuff. And,
well, the thing is, as well, is just she didn't have a plan.
Yeah,
they didn't go in and plan out. See, this stupid bitch just leaves her friend with the guy who's exploding. Yeah. She didn't even try get her out. She's got a bit of blood in her face, run off. But then I suppose they're ordinary people, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know. See, that's kind of great.
Oh, yeah.
That's really cool. It's mindful time. But again, it's in service of just something shit. Yeah. It's like, look, you just ditched your mate for no reason. You're the one who got blood in your face. She's less contaminated than you are. But then I guess they're ordinary people and they're panicking, so I can't really complain. We just went in on that.
I mean, it's a sort of redo of the kind of Ripley not letting them in through the airlock type.
Yeah, but Ripley kind of does it in a kind of hard-nosed way.
Oh, yeah,
where she just panics. I forgot about that.
That's
and I swear it doesn't go like as well. It's got like a great squeaky noise. Look at this, of course, because this is the Moomin. Yeah. The first alien they get, and I'm sure it's fucking called a curate or something pretentious like that. There's no way it's called that's the choir boy or whatever. Because what was the fucking deacon in the last one?
The cardinal.
The
bishop.
Fuck you,
Bishop Brennan. It's actually called a biretta.
Kicked a Moomin up the arse. So I mean, I don't know what it is, because I think kind of when the chest burster comes out in Alien, it looks like a lava.
Yeah,
you know, it's got kind of like a larval phase to it, and it runs off. When it's just kind of a miniaturized, I don't know, is it silly just because it's kind of a miniaturized version of the same thing? You know what I mean? It's just a bipedal kind of creature.
She slips on the blood as well. I forgot about that.
It's like when Sean slips on the blood in the shop in Shaun of the Dead when he's getting his cornetto.
Yeah.
And then he opens the door and there's that bloody handprint. He doesn't notice it. It's like that. Look at that. He fucked up twice.
So she went back and then fucked up.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, that looks really hokey, actually, CGI-wise. It doesn't look great.
And it's on a small screen. And it's not looking great. That's kind of... I don't remember having a huge problem with it at the time. Well, I do. I mean, the rest of it I do. I do kind of... And the fact... I just can't escape the fact it looks like a Moomin. That was the first thing I thought when I was watching it. Is like, it looks like a fucking Moomin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not suggesting for a moment that I could solve modern blockbuster filmmaking.
I could. I just can't be bothered. No, obviously
I could, but I just don't want to.
I don't. Choose not to.
That explosion looks amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
But yeah, no, and it's not to. I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to be the guy who slags off loads of people. But demonstrably, something is wrong with it. You know, it's not delivering on the promise that it's supposed to be. You know, and these things costing what they do, and promise. You know, like being sold as these ultimate versions of whatever. You know, it's like they're not working. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but yeah, they don't.
Well, again, I think a lot of it, because I think, looking at I think Star Wars in particular, they were just trying to fucking please the internet. Yeah. That's what happened there, and particularly by the third one, it's just like, fucking Christ, like they were trying to. They listened to the internet and then kind of imagined some kind of lowest common denominator that they had to shoot for, and then ultimately please no one, which is what happens every time.
Yeah.
Which is a similar thing with It's not as bad with Solo. I mean, Solo as a film, the final product is fine. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just not very exciting and it feels sort of pointless, but it kind of makes sense. Whereas Rise of Skywalker is full Suicide Squad cut and shut. Yeah. Because they killed Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. It's well, yeah, because they killed off everyone but Leia, and then Carrie Fisher died, which is awful. But funny. That's irony for you, Alanis. Yeah,
but I've got too many spoons, Duncan.
All I needed was a knife.
Oh, spreading butter. Just use the handle of the spoon.
Of one of them.
Well, you've got many. You don't even have to wash it.
Yeah, you could stick a couple together.
You could play the spoons.
We
know you're
song.
Musical. Yeah. Just.
I like Alanis Morissette. I don't care.
No, I don't mind Alanis Morissette. I loved that album at the time.
Yeah.
That album on tape in 1996 or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Look out! It's a Moomin. Ugh.
And that's just grown to a ridiculous size in no time at all.
Oh, it's not a Moomin. It's a priesthood or something. I don't know. Was it Wilder who punched in the gut? Oh, so he loses his hand here. I thought he lost his hand in the fight. Righto, okay. Unless David gives him his hand or something. Give the man... Oh, God, that guy's jaw got ripped off.
Yeah.
One of the lucky ones. It is very gory, more than I remembered, actually.
Yeah.
Must say, a lot more than I remembered. And yeah, so the thing coming out the guy's back. Because again, foolishly, I mentioned earlier, the one good scene in the movie that seems to come from another movie. And in the first one, of course, it's the abortion scene. When Shaw has the octopus taken out of her C-section. I should say C-section rather than abortion, really. And that's kind of like, oh, wow, look at this. And, kind of things like the thing coming out the guy's back. It's really well executed and it's horrible.
Yeah.
But it's also, well, we've made Alien. How many parts of the body can, instead of coming out the front, comes out the back now. And the next one's going to come out the toe or whatever, the magnetor.
Well, which implies, I mean, like, I'm fine with that in one sense because I kind of think, well, yeah, it would just come out however it could come out. But, like, it was supposed to be impregnated through your esophagus. It took ages for a facehugger to implant, right? And it was on his face for ages. And then, and then it had to sort of grow and all that, and it's like, well, where's any of that? It's so rushed. It's always been this way though. In ever since like Alien versus Predator, it's like, oh come on, let's just all right, okay, it's done now. It pops out now. We can't bother with the passage
because
of
it
time.
becomes a perfunctory detail, doesn't it? People just it's almost like an irritation. It's like, well, we need the aliens now, so can you just make with the fucking chest bursters, please?
Yeah. Make with the
Green
yakety
lasers.
yak.
Make with the yakety yak.
Roger Dangerfield. Rodney Dangerfield. Right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, who am I talking to?
Oh, put her back in. She's not done yet.
Yeah.
Oh man, you see, so we're getting into sort of like essentially because all that, so the Pompeii stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think what a lot of Ridley Scott stuff is concept art come to life, and I know that's the point of concept art.
Yeah.
I get that, but it's kind of like, well, sometimes it's just like, well, here's a painting someone did, rather than because I think this Forest of the Dead, I think it's cool. It's cool. It's just in service of the dumb thing.
Well, it's just what it feels like it needed was someone to turn around to Ridley and go, because.
Yeah, why?
Why? I mean, it all looks good, but why?
Why?
That's not to say that the man can't make a movie, obviously, but it is just, it's all kind of like imagery and stuff.
Well, I think this is the thing. I think the script is such a distant last for him. I think once the script's there, the script's a script, and then they get on to make it. Because, and he's got there's so much diversity in his body of work as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from like Alien to like Legend to fucking The Martian. I love The Martian.
Yeah.
Thelma and Louise. There's so much fucking variation within it. He's great at turning his hand to anything. But I think he's really good at making any script. It's just sometimes someone needs to editorialize that script. Or like, because I know he's such a creative force behind these, but he's just kind of like, oh, it should have a pyramid in it, write that, and then he'll make it, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah, there's some sort of weird disconnect because, like you say, he sort of has this mad ownership over this property, or appears to, or wants to, but he doesn't really have a handle on what he's trying to say with any of it. It's almost like he wanted to. It's like two toddlers in a nursery, and like, you know, Neil Blomkamp being one and him being the other, and he wanted to wrestle the toy back off him. You know what I mean? It's like, I've got an idea. There's a pyramid at space, and a Charlize Theron and Michael Fassbender, and Catholicism, and then goo, and then an alien.
Oh, look, it's Iggy
£1 million
Pop.
now. Iggy Pop.
Put a shirt on, Iggy. Oh, you finally did. Yeah, well, and the thing with Neil Blomkamp as well is like I think it is what you describe in a way, that kind of like wrestling the toys back, because Fox liked Blomkamp. Crucially, Sigourney Weaver's a big fan. They work together and they like each other a lot, which is where that all came from.
Yeah.
And do you know what else? Like the legacy sequel thing, where you ignore as frustrating as that is in its own ways, has now really taken off. You know, Texas Chainsaw's had one. Halloween was the big success.
Yeah.
There's been a few of those now where it's like, well, we're ignoring the original, and maybe they were just a little bit too early. I'm not saying it was a good idea; it would have been a good film at all. By the way, there is a very high chance that there's a slightly different alternate timeline where we're complaining about that.
Yes, true.
And going. Oh, if only Ridley Scott had made his ones. Like,
well, I'm whinging about concept art once more, because that's all that, you know what I mean. Like, that's what everyone's hung their hat on, the fact that he did some concept art with Ridley Scott and Michael Biehn, and it's like, yeah, but doesn't mean the film would be good, does it? And also, they look young, so how are you going to make that work?
And good luck with that.
I know, and it does that, like you said, the legacy sequel thing. Despite being able to point to financial successes, I don't think it's ever been done successfully as a you know, like, ignore these ones. It's like, no. And also,
I might be wrong, but I can't think of any I've enjoyed.
No,
I can't think of the big ticket kind of ones at the moment. But like Halloween, man, had one or two quite arresting images in it. But Michael gets out and stabs people on Halloween. Oh no, I never. Okay. Oh no, and he's been burned in a house. I guess he's dead. Oh no, they've made another one.
yeah.
Come on. What more? Which was, you know, Danny McBride's instrumental in those with David Gordon Green. Oddly enough, that's something that he was involved in quite a lot as a producer or exec producer. But why? Because do you know what? A lot of people liked him, and a lot of people liked the second one. I'm not going to watch it. I don't care. But you know, like Texas Chainsaw's had that twice actually.
Yeah.
So you know. Yeah, I don't know. And his Alien, because Alien
Returns is the one I often point to a lot, because it's just like
Superman Returns.
I just think
that's
because it's such a muddled mess that it frustrates me, because it's not that I hate it, and I don't want to hate on the people who made it, apart from Singer maybe.
Apart from that alleged paedophile.
Allegedly,
but
it's the kind of, it is that thing of like, ignore 3 and 4 were terrible, so we're ignoring those, and it's like, okay, so but this is the Christopher Reeve Superman, is it? Okay. So why does nothing look like any?
Why
of
are
that
they suddenly
shit?
in a massive Art Deco Daily Planet?
Yeah, why does the Daily Planet have the globe on the top? Why anything? Why does anything look like that? Why does Superman look about 12 years younger than he did? Why? You know, explain that. Explain how he, like, you know, he must have shagged Lois Lane and fucked off
I'd
really
forgotten
quick.
about that, and that was an insanely big ticket.
Yeah,
high end.
And it was when it came out, it was so self-evident that really what that was we want to keep the John Williams theme. He kind of looks like Christopher Reeve, but not really, but sort of. And let's just go with that. You know, it's like, and we, you know, I just want to play with those toys, but in a different sandbox. And it was kind of like, right, okay, well, you know.
And to what end? Yeah. And fuck Terminator. Well, in actual fact, like, really, that's kind of what Terminator Genesis and Terminator Salvation both did. But more so, Salvation really hung their hat on that because James Cameron came back, right? So it was like, this is the true sequel. And
not Salvation.
not Salvation.
Fate.
Dark Fate, thank you. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yes,
really hung their hat on that. And
this is the real Terminator 3. It's like, even the real Terminator 3 doesn't want to be the real Terminator 3. Like, what? That's not a good thing to say. It's like, what do you mean? And then it's like, this is the real Terminator 3. We're going to kill John Connor in the first 2 seconds. It's like, right. So I have nothing invested in this then. Like, what is? Who's that for?
Do you know,
Who are you making
that
movies
as well?
for?
If you put that, Texas Chainsaw, which I think was the most recent Texas Chainsaw, and Halloween together, they are all original protagonists comes back with grey hair and old to reboot the thing, and they're so similar.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, though, not to be unkind to the lady, but who?
And also she's dead. They had to recast.
Oh no!
So
really?
it's not even her. Yeah, it's not even her.
Oh my
yeah,
god!
she had died in the 20 years, so they recast with somebody else. So
and then just to kill her off in that spoilers way, like it was like right. Yeah. All that time spent building up. There's so many films. It's a bit. What else? There's another example of that, isn't there? Where it's like he or she's getting mad. She said, "Oh, she's going to make the journey, the pilgrimage, the redemptive pilgrimage to finally slay the dragon." Here, she or he. It's just like, oh, right. I mean, it's a bit like Doc in The Shining. You know, he spends ages going like, "I'm coming, Danny. I'm coming." Whack! Like, axe in the arse. Dead. I'm gonna X your ass good.
I'm gonna X you a question.
Oh, here's the fingering.
The notorious "I'll do the fingering." I mean, this is
and blowing the hole gently.
This crystallizes this completely for me. This scene and the fingering thing completely crystallizes this film for me, and it's pretentious in the truest sense, because I know that Ridley Scott, seeing this film and seeing people laugh at this scene, would be like, oh well, they're laughing at it because they just don't get the themes that I'm working with. Yeah. Whereas we're laughing at it because the themes you're working with are really juvenile and don't work. So if you had made something incredibly clever, we wouldn't laugh.
It's because you're looking at, like, don't get me wrong, this is a very well put together scene of obviously to the same actor. I guess it's face replacement or whatever it is, right? But it's so po-faced, and you're saying things like "blow gently in the hole" and "I'll do the fingering."
And
it's
fingering.
Like, if that's literally supposed to be taken deadly serious, I mean, why?
And the thing is, fingering is the correct technical term.
yeah.
That's the thing, and so it shouldn't be funny. But again, and I think it'd be possible to do it in a film that you were, as a viewer, taking seriously and viewing it as it's intended to be viewed. You would, but it's this, so you don't.
Yeah.
And you could argue to me all day. What they do have is that they do create this kind of homoerotic tension between them, which comes from David, and it feels more like kind of narcissistic power play than it is actual sexual attraction.
Yeah.
But they do that, and okay, if you're trying to tell me they use blowing the hole and fingering as part of that, you're wrong and full of shit. I'm sorry, that's not some clever high level Freudian power play.
Yeah,
it's dialogue that you think you could get away with because you thought your film was so clever. In actual fact, it's dumb as a bag of rocks, but it's a really nice silk bag.
And I know we don't have the sound on, but don't forget he's teaching him to play the Prometheus theme on the flute, which is it's exactly the thing you were talking about before. It may as well be, but I think we're taking a hitherto non-diegetic song and making it diegetic, and expecting no one to question it. It's like that always annoys me.
And I think there's a way, like, you can do that if you make it wrap around and it has some really insane pathos, and then you can go back and look at the original film and go, oh, that's what they were saying, it was his music that we've been listening to. But this film doesn't pull this off at all, so you just don't. I've cited this before, owing to the copyright situation, which you well know from helping me for being DOP on my Night of the Living Dead vid. There are countless Night of the Living Dead remakes out there because of and in one of them, one of the more low rent ones, like, they sit down and watch Night of the Living Dead, but all the characters have the same names of the characters in the film are in the same situation. So it's like, but you've created a thing where they're in this and nobody draws attention to it. Because if it was like, oh my god, here's the answer, this film is somehow retro based on our lives, but it's just thrown in because someone thought it'd be neat, and it's like, well, you've just broken the whole logic of this movie. Nothing means anything now.
Well, it's like, in the Italian Job remake, they watched the Italian Job.
Do that? I've still never seen that.
But then it's not the same. It's not that, people. Mark Wahlberg is Mark Wahlberg playing Charlie Croker? I don't think so. Is he?
No, I don't believe so.
Better not be. What?
Yeah, that's what? I told you to blow the bloody doors off. I did say that. Well, sorry, I just sort of something in reverse. Craig Russell, with whom we've both worked.
He is playing Charlie Croker. That's horrendous. And Donald Sutherland is John Bridger.
Oh, well, there you go then. And they've
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Why?
Well, I just heard someone say Bellend in an American accent the other day, and that made me laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. Because it's just like using mundane British terms in an American accent is just the funniest thing I can think of. And America saying Bellend and using it anatomically as well, not as an insult. But it's like, oh, well, that's the shape of the bell end.
Ow, I caught my bell end on a barbed wire fence.
If we don't get this replacement bell end to the E&R within an hour, it'll die. I said E&R. I was trying to combine A and E with ER to create some kind of transatlantic...
Andrew.
Emergency and room. Casual and tea. Oh, good grief. Good grief. Oh, look, here we go. So this is the flashback. So maybe she's not in it, but he is, right? He comes and uses the goo eggs. And I assume, well, I don't know for sure, but it's not the home world, right? It's just like an outpost or something, or a colony world. Or did they just fucking kill? Because this is the thing for it. Because if this is the engineer homeworld, then bang goes any of the mystery. He's just destroyed the engineers.
Well, no, I think it is the engineer's homeworld. But then again, it's like what? And they all live in one city, do they? It's a planet.
There's like 12 of them that all live.
So this is just not the equivalent of Birmingham or something.
He does. He's wearing. All right. Craig's back with the gear.
Has Craig brought the gear back? Hey, Craig, what are you doing?
Yeah. See, they look. The engineers, did they have just normal human eyes? The engineers before the ones?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh no!
But they don't. But none of them have been met. Because I know it's a crowd of them, but like none of them look sort of big or whatever. They're just like, oh, I don't know why.
I don't know why. It's Black Gow.
It's the Gow. What does he do again? I don't know. I don't know why.
So it's just a statue.
And also that implies that some sort of memo went around that said everyone gather in the courtyard.
Craig's coming back.
Craig's coming back.
That's not Craig. It's some geezer.
Like there's all weird things coming out. It just doesn't make sense. What does this go do?
So it doesn't turn these people. This doesn't cause these people to spawn life forms, or do they just turn to spores?
Yeah.
He's doing a cry because he's sad. Yeah, because he misquotes, doesn't he? And I like that. It's a subtle thing of because David is this insanely pretentious sort of by design, and then he's like, "Well, no, you're wrong. It's Byron. It's not." Well, he says he
thinks it's Shelley or something.
He thinks it's Shelley, and he says Byron.
Yeah. And also, he's misunderstanding the point of Ozymandias, right? Because it's the feet on the statue with the plinth that says, "Look upon my works, you mighty in despair." And it's like it's just this. The point of it is just like over time, none of this shit matters.
Yeah.
So
time is a fire in which we burn and all that.
Yeah.
It's, by mixing quotes here, but anyway.
But then it's like, okay, that's fine, but in aid of.
Well, I think from the plot, it just shows that David isn't all that. He's kind of not perfect, and I think that creates a kind of a tension here because Walter is like superior, but also Walter doesn't have the power of self-determination, right? That's the thing. That he's had taken away. He's essentially his free will taken away, and then David pulls his bogies out, and it makes his brain turn off.
Oh yeah,
it's like a thing from out of his nose, isn't it? And he like kind of. It's a nice visceral kind of body horror.
But then, but he sort of does it. His face goes like the robot ninjas from RoboCop 2.
RoboCop 3, darling. RoboCop 3.
What did I say? 2. Sorry.
2. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah,
So ridiculous. Fatuous crap.
I watched so Bruce Locke, who plays those ninjas, obviously the guys interviewed him for RoboDoc.
Oh yeah.
And I've watched his interview, and he's really funny because he's just like he's like, I don't know any martial arts, I'm just Asian, so they hired me. And he's really funny, like avuncular. His interview's really when that comes out, he's a really Bruce Locke should be in more stuff. He's a really funny speaker and everything.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Bless him. Yeah, I feel bad for him really in a way because it's almost worse like being in a big franchise that tanks. being in a big movie like that just is terrible.
That goes to shit. Then that's it, isn't it? And you're just remembered as that person.
Yeah,
which is kind of bullshit. And just through the test of time, RoboCop 3's, if anything, got better.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Oh, I'm so sad. I'm full of goo.
I've learned nothing. I'm just going to wash myself in this water now.
Yeah, I drink it.
Yeah.
Quickly, put some on my bell end.
My bell end.
Bell end. Bell end's such a great word. I don't know if any Americans don't know the phrase bell end. It's referring to the glands, the tip of your penis, because it somewhat resembles a bell, and it's at the end of your cock. And that's it.
It's not hard to work out.
A study in literalism, which I love. That doesn't seem. I think that Aussie. I don't think I've heard the Aussies use it. Like, feels like one of those ones that those guys would have.
You fucking bill end.
You fucking bell end.
Yeah.
Because it's a great insult. Bell end is someone who is like, a bell end's just a bit of an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like a twat or a cunt is just obnoxious. For a bell end, I can call one of my friends a bell end. And to be fair, in Britain we do call some of our best mates cunts on the regular. So let's,
Was it the Australian thing, like you call your mates a cunt and cunts a mate or whatever?
Yeah. You call your mate a cunt and you call a cunt a mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they like to, what I like from Australians is like when they say no, they go, yeah, no.
yeah.
But when they say yeah, they go, no, yeah. And then I love that. It's great.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Yeah, no. Man, these fuckers lived longer than I thought.
Yeah, well, they
get blowed up, or is that it?
They get taken out when the alien goes on board, don't they, or whatever?
All right, an
or
alien.
when getting a Subway sandwich at 2 a.m. I can't remember which one.
One or the other.
One or the other.
Oh yeah, because
that didn't happen. Sorry.
Right.
That's
Okay.
Right,
yeah. Right. Oh, they got a little astronaut man flinging around up there. They all kind of just set dressing crap. Okay, fine. I guess it's a good movie.
He's got a cowboy hat or whatever, and his name's Tennessee.
His name's Tennessee,
and he drinks Jack Daniels. And
they've really, what a triptych of heavy-hitting metaphor and visual language.
Yeah, it's all there if you look for it.
There's a character called Steam Train who has a train conductor's hat.
It's got Thomas the Tank Engine's face.
It's got a grey circular disc for a face. Boot, boot. What's the matter, Steam Train?
The fat controller on Steam Train.
Steam Train. Look at the Moomin.
It's a horrible image, that, of her head just sort of floating in the water, though. But that isn't imposing to it. Do you know what I mean? That's a sort of, we're going to redesign the alien and take away all of its features, so it just looks like a sack of
it's
guts. It's like, what is that?
It's the thing, isn't it? I think this is the problem you make for yourself, and it's any way you cut this. I think because there are a lot of people who, so from Alien to Aliens, right? Like, so what I came to understand about Aliens is the reason they're kind of like they've got the different shaped domes and stuff is because the first Alien was younger, and those ones that the kind of carapace, if you like, has calloused.
Okay.
Which is why it's not transparent and stuff. So it's like, okay, it follows a line of thought. And then the only other big thing that's introduced in Aliens is the Alien Queen, right? Yeah. And there are lots of people who don't like either of those things even. They're like, that's too far, that's too much. Because it's a really hard task if you create something that's iconic, and actually iconic, not iconic in the way people use iconic these days to mean I really like that thing, but actually something that becomes an icon. Like, look up the fucking definition. If you create something like that, as they did, it becomes this kind of millstone, because like anything, even viewing it three-dimensionally, anything you add or subtract for it, you're straying away from what made that good, and you have to be really careful. I think it's the Predator 2 thing as well. I think the Predator 2 Predator is too much. They just put too much on it. It's the same with those Super Predators and Predators as well.
Yeah, got it.
It's too much, and they have to have a classic Predator in that movie to make it kind of hang together a bit nicer. Yeah.
Which is, I think, is worse, because they're like, look, we can do it, but we're not going to do it.
We've chosen not to.
These are 3 more. It's like, what does that mean? There's a
one of them's got a hawk.
T850.
I like Predators. Did we do
don't really.
You like Predator 2, mate? Don't do that.
Yeah, I do. What? Come at me.
We already have. There's a commentary.
Oh yeah.
We spent like 2 hours on it, I guess. Did we do Predators as well, or no?
Yeah, I'm sure we did.
feel like we
I
did,
know we've
right?
discussed it, and I'm sure we did, but maybe not. But yeah.
But whatever.
My favourite thing you ever said about Predators was like, Lawrence Fishburne, when he's just like, looks like there was a fucking Burger King.
I've been here for 7 seasons.
They brought back the McRib.
Last season, McMemphis. This season, barbecue Angus. It's like, what have you been eating, mate? Like, I know, like, alien avocados are probably really fatty. I know Earth ones are.
Yeah.
Shouldn't body shame, but come on, Predators.
Oh, and it's like, look, Lawrence Fishburne will always be, I mean, shit, he out-act me in a heartbeat. It's like something not throw shade on his.
Yeah, I don't think the's anything to worry about. I'm not sure how many podcasts he listens to.
No.
But,
and he's a legend. I believe that is a fair.
That feels accurate to me, man.
Yeah.
Larry Fishburne fucking blagged his way into Apocalypse Now on a false age rap.
Yep.
Fucking legend, mate. Yeah. Rather than doing what lots of people did in Vietnam, was blacking away into the army on a false age rap and dying.
Or being Elvis.
Or being Elvis.
Yeah. We're gonna win this race. What was it? Oh, it's Eddie Murphy, isn't it? Like, Elvis couldn't sing. Like, he could sing anything or whatever. It's like, Elvis, are we gonna win this race? We're gonna win this race. It's like, want some lemonade? Lemonade. That cool, refreshing drink. Eddie Murphy can sing, man, as well. Like, he's really good.
He released a single, "Party All the Time."
Oh, did he? I don't know.
Yeah, party all the time, party all the time. That's Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
Produced by Rick James.
Ah.
It's crazy. I think he had the ones. I don't think there was an album. I think there was one single, as far as I know, and then he never did it again. "Party All the Time" is a banger.
He's fucking hilarious. Oh, look, that one's crucified.
Oh, look, it's crucified right now.
Right.
You might not know this, right? But there's this religion, right, called Christianity. and their, like, leader, he was called, like, John Jesus, I think. They put him on a big tuh. And by putting the alien on a big tuh, it makes us think of the religion Christianity. It's quite clever. It's called a method for, which is when one thing looks like another thing.
It just... Yeah, all this shit pisses me off because it's like, oh, he drew your face. I mean, it's like, what was he doing? What, like, why? Like, so he.
Well, it's a bit like it's like Lyle Lanley's book in Monorail episode.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the bags of money and
yeah, the monorail, like people falling off with like squares for eyes, straight crosses for eyes and shit. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so he's been sat kind of engineering like an engineer.
Yeah.
Because this is the whole. Because I remember that, like, do you remember with Alien vs Predator? They had some kind of like in-universe explanation for why it all gestates so quickly. Because it's like, oh no, because they've accelerated their growth to. Whereas in this, like, he just puts the face hugger on him and then, like.
Yeah, and it's like, and it treats him like a dipshit as well. It's like, have a look in there, mate. Go on, have a look.
Have a look in here, mate.
Well,
it's not an egg.
It's me pin number's in there. Go on,
me pin number. Yeah, like Popeyes. There's Popeyes in there. Labrador.
And it's just like, but again, that annoys me because it like you said before, it overexposes the xenomorph. It overdoes everything. It overexplains it. So none of this, you know what I mean? Like, it just okay. So we get to do that again, but with more. Well,
this is just nostalgia wanking, isn't it? Here's that thing you like.
Yeah, but with a terrible explanation behind it, which is that, you know, it was all friggin'... David
used Shaw to make it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what's going on?
I think so.
Oh, look, it's just like in Alien, the popular film Alien. Do you remember the popular film Alien?
William got hurt.
It's true, William got hurt. And Ian didn't get to go home.
Sigourney didn't do any weavering.
And Veronica just couldn't get her cart right. Right, we need to stop this now.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is just
Before
a
I try and
black
rhyme
hole.
something with Koto.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's a black hole of one-upmanship.
Was Tom scared?
Oh God! Oh, fucking
Two dickheads.
Jesus! I look at the big heads are back. Look at my big heads. Filled it with go. Go. Yeah, they're going to thrust away, baby. They're going to punch for the Atmos, baby. Because they sort of... So basically, the button on it is that David has loads of... he's replacing the fetuses with goo or infecting them with goo, so he's got his farm of aliens, can continue his work on the colony they were planning to go to, right?
Yeah.
And he's presumably going to use... He's going to use Daniels as human material as the way he did with Shaw. So what we were in for was David wreaking havoc in a colony with the aliens, which is a thing we've seen before, except now it's got a man in it pretending to be Lawrence of Arabia. Would be the third one, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Perspective.
I said William Hurt, didn't I? Who died recently?
Oh, did
I
you?
meant John Hurt.
Oh, I met John Hurt. Oh, I didn't realise.
Sorry.
That last week.
I
Yeah,
just
Paul.
realised William Hurt died.
Yeah, bless him. What
Yeah.
a fucking G.
Oh,
Fucking G. Oh, my tummy. I've got an upset tummy. Here, Walter. You got any Rene's for my tummy? Rene for my tummy.
what was in that egg? I think it was a kebab. Oh, it's just so...
Creation.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, now I'm covered in blood now. It's my favourite shirt. Groaning.
I know the captions are...
Screaming.
I mean, it's a good chest
Dying.
buster, you know, in the way it's sort of realised. Although it's that thing of like he's alive until it comes out.
Yeah. Did you see in the wide he has his tongue out,
Oh yeah.
but in the close he didn't. So it's like in the shot there previously he's properly bugging his tongue out, and then it cuts to him in his tongue. It's a very minor continuity error, but it was just like I think there's a bit too much.
It's to
acting.
try and do the William Hurt. Fuck it, say it again.
Yeah.
John Hurt thing
John
of him flailing around with his tongue and then his hand still twitching and stuff. Why is it fully formed? Like, why isn't it a
'cause
chest
it's the
burst?
first one or whatever. Oh, I'm an alien. Oh, xenomorph.
No, isn't this short?
Because this is horrible.
Yeah.
Like it's a really grotesque image, and just that all the eyes are all kind of sunken and black and stuff.
So the point is what? He's made it out of bits. He's been combining her using the goo with what?
Well, I think he's just kind of vivisected her, and he's just been combining her tissue. I think broadly, he kept her alive for a while, was combining it because you combine living tissue with the goo and it makes things. And I think
Yeah.
he was using pieces of her, kind of vivisecting her, combining it with.
Doesn't that imply that the facehugger's vagina thing is Shaw's vagina?
he peeled a bit of her lips off and put it in.
Oh no! Don't.
I've done a snort. Oh fuck! Oh gross. Yeah, well, I guess that's the kind of level of dumbitude we're dealing with. I just feel like these are the kind of because I think I'm pretty certain there are actual Hedgehog Giga sketches in here somewhere, but all the kind of anatomical stuff. Because he has a serial killer nutty layer, right? Like,
Yeah.
and the Prometheus theme tune is the elegy for Elizabeth, and and you kind of wrap that round. So the first film, actually, when we heard that music, it's because she was going to die. No, it wasn't. You were making stuff as you went along. Don't pretend to me that it's part of some grand scheme, because it fucking wasn't.
Well, she's a sort of Mary figure, isn't she? Because she doesn't think she can have kids, and then she has one. Well, it's not immaculate conception, is it? Because she does do a sex with old Logan Marshall
Yeah.
Green, so that's not.
Yeah.
So that
But,
doesn't hold together.
they can't conceive though, so there is that to it. And
Yeah.
So it's kind of like because it's still a miraculous conception, whether or not it's
Yeah.
virginal. But she gave birth to an octopus.
But then
Oh,
the
no.
implication of that is that that's supposed to be what starts the aliens off, and then that's just dropped in this.
Yeah. But it's a deacon. It's like, well, the deacon's running around on that other planet and has nothing to do with these.
Yeah. I hope the deacon likes vodka, because that's basically all was in that friggin' pot, wasn't
Yes, that's all.
it? Charlie's stash of body. That's it.
And a cigarettes, to be fair.
Yes.
Sit and smoke like Ridley Scott.
Get pissed.
Getting pushed.
Hi, I'm the deacon. Hello. Sure, yes. Yeah, I mean, it's all just... And it basically shits on Prometheus, you know. I mean, Prometheus is just a vehicle to get David here. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, none of that meant anything, did it? I mean, okay,
Prometheus' vehicle to get David here, it turns out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, as if they were planning it. Like,
they do that so much in this and in Terminator Dark Fate as well, of like, right, kill off that now, that's done now, like, we don't need to deal with that. And it's like, but you know, you want, on the one hand, you want to do nostalgia wanking and attract that audience, but on the other hand, you want to say, oh, well, that was dumb, stupid bullshit, and actually let's talk about the origins of man or whatever. And you kind of go, but that's what? That's like aversion therapy. It's like you're going to slap me around the face. You're going to show me something I like and then slap me around the face over it. It's like, well, why? Like, that's not what I was invested in, is it? I don't care about Michael Fassbender talking to himself incessantly for fucking ages. And then
people like to imply that you're stupid for expecting the logical outcome. That's what really irritates me. That was the thing that bothered me with both the Star Wars sequels from the second and third one, The Last Jedi and Revenge of Skywalker, whatever the fuck it was called. It's kind of like, oh, it didn't do what you expected it to, and it's like, well, you're dumb for expecting to find the answers to these questions. It's like, no, I'm not. You posed the questions. Don't ask me a question when I want the answer. Just sort of go like, no, idiot, actually it's oranges. It's like, fuck off. Like the whole Snoke thing. So, oh yeah, we subvert your expectations by killing Snoke. It's like, that's not satisfying. It's intensely irritating. And you didn't know what you were doing because then you had to tack on that... he pulled his bogies out. You had to tack on that awful fucking thing in the third where it's like a big pile of clones. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's fucking... Because you didn't do your a dog ate your fucking homework. That's my fault. As a member of the audience. Get to fuck.
Yeah, I know. And there's no excuse for it. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure no one sets out to make a bad film. It's not like anyone goes like, "Oh, fuck it, let's just make a bad film today for $300 million or whatever." I know it's not that, but it just feels so sort of. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know what the process is behind writing and putting those films together. But it's like, it feels to me like on a lot of things, it's kind of like we have a mood board and then we give that to the art department and they go off and sort of make it. And then we sort of play in that space and figure out what story we want to tell. And it's like, that's not a way to make a movie. And more so now, where it's kind of like, oh, we'll just do everything against green screen and piece it together like Lego afterwards. And it's like, oh, that's not, you know.
There's a kind of element of, you'll take what you're given, you filthy pigs. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, just have one of these. Particularly when I think like something... Increasingly, it seems to be the case that the movie is secondary. It's at the centre of a big marketing thing, and it's not even about the film anymore. It's about selling the things that exist around the film, which it seems to have cooled off a bit because, you know, you don't, for some reason, tie-in video games died, possibly because they're all shit. But like, it didn't stop them for like, and that's not true. GoldenEye, one of the best games ever there. But like, tie-in video games died, and you don't see as much. They've been a lot of stuff for the Batman, like Cafe Nero. And like, I was in Asda and there was the Batman socks, and I walked past the toy shop the other day, there was the Batman toys. It's like, well, it's a 15 though. Yeah. And it's not like, because I think Batman Returns was a similar thing, but that was like a 12A, wasn't it? Where they were kind of Happy Meals and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but this is rated for adults essentially. Yeah. So I don't really know.
Yeah, people complained about that. And I think McDonald's pulled their Happy Meal stuff, and it's like, yeah, but didn't you know that was anyway?
Didn't you fucking watch it?
Yeah.
Look, it's a full xenomorph.
I know, why?
Remember aliens? Or alien, whatever. Because eating him as well.
I know, yeah. I know, because that was always a sort of ambiguous thing, wasn't it? And obviously when you see the director's cut of Alien, it wasn't. It was imprisoning them and turning them into
And even
eggs.
Aliens, and Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, they don't eat you. They're not zombies. Like, yeah. But then all the progenitor ones eat you because plot convenience, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry if my chair is creaking a lot.
Mine is too. There'll be a lot of chair creak, and I need to get a better chair to avoid chair creak. Yeah. Having been said, I'm not sure we ever got called out for chair creaks in watch parties. It's basically the same setup. So
chair creak
this summer. Chair creak.
I don't want to wait for my lunch to get colder.
Oh, me neck! I got a pipe in me neck.
Isn't that like a screw? Oh, it's like a nail, isn't it, that she hung around her neck, which is similar to like what would have been driven through Christ's hand or whatever on the cross.
Because Christ's hands were very small. It's to scale to Christ's.
What is this shit about him kissing people as well? Like, what's that?
kiss of death. That's the thing that movies like to do, kiss of death.
Yeah.
But also fine, because like the thing with David is with Walter is very much the kiss of death, right? You kiss someone before you fucking do them.
Yeah. Go now. It's just so sort of like, again, it's that Terminator thing of like throw them around the room. It's like that. It's not how you.
Yeah. There
have been a few updates. That's the Neo thing of upgrades.
Upgrades. He's got his kryptonite laser.
Where are you?
I'm here, man. Look at this robot fight. Yeah, all the kind of there's a lot of in this movie, this sequence. Sorry, they're very rarely pictured together, but like having two of the same character kiss each other, that's pretty impressive. It's not massively lingering or whatever, but all the kind of dual character stuff looks great.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's like whatever you said about getting. Getting a Michelin star chef to make you a fucking
rustler burger.
Rustler burger, isn't it? Exactly.
So this is just quite a tedious fight.
Yeah, well, they just throw each other around the room a bunch, and it's all sort of designed to confuse you, I suppose, so that you're not sure who's who by the end of it. Oh, because he's got a scratch on his face now. Yeah.
Okay. So it is Walter then. So yeah. So David must scratch his own face and presumably cut his own hand off.
Well, I think the thing is that he doesn't scratch his own face, but he does. Oh,
because she doesn't know.
Because no one's seen that, right? No one's seen.
But we,
it.
the audience, have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why? I mean, and
yeah,
he's also got a different haircut, and like,
he's got that David tattoo on his face that he's so proud of.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. That's right, they got a beacon. So strap yourselves in, guys, because there is now an Aliens fan film for the remaining 25 minutes. It's like...
And again, the problem is that they show the alien in broad daylight.
Yeah, see, he has cut his face.
Yeah.
To fool... Because that's dumb, because that's to fool us.
Yeah.
Daniels doesn't know whether or not his face is cut purely for us.
Yeah.
I guess the implication is that Walter gave him an identical cut off screen.
Well, no, because you see, the last thing you see is David
picking up the knife.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, maybe someone did something for cut face, but I don't think that they did. Anyway, I'm just... Oh, yeah, of course, because there's like the crane on top, right? Because we have to have the alien versus the crane.
Yeah.
Frasier crane.
For God's sakes, Niall. And then it's just like he's listening.
He's always listening.
The thing, I mean, it's just, it doesn't look, again, it just shows it up as well, like that, don't get me wrong, they've done a great job of animating it, and it's no one's fault, but it's just the decision to put the alien kind of in broad daylight, I think, is a bit of a mistake. And it's like, and again, it's not built up too properly. It's like, it's just, it's there because it's expected to be there. And I remember when they were saying, like, oh, what are you going to call the sequel? And he was like, oh, I think a pretty Alien Covenant. Or what, you said something about that having meaning, that it had alien in the title. And it's like, no, it didn't. They're forcing you to put a bloody alien in it because the last one was so stupid. And you didn't,
Well, then there was that whole run up to the last one where they kept pretending it wasn't an alien film.
I know.
And they say, well, and being weird. Well, if you ask us that, what we actually mean is that it isn't, but it is. But if you don't not re-understand, then it won't be. It's just like, well, just say yes or no,
Stop
mate.
giving us politicians answers. It's a film.
Yeah, it's about the fucking Wayland Company and LV 420 bollocks or whatever. Like, don't pretend. Like, fucking wankstains. It's like, I remember, I've said this before, but like when the original Doom film, both Doom films are dreadful, but the original Doom film, wasn't set, didn't have hell in it.
Right.
There's no hell in the
yes,
original Doom film.
Yeah, true, yeah.
And there was loads and loads of stuff from the director and people would say to them in interviews, like, is hell in this? They go, well, it depends on your definition of hell. So no, then. Because if you're going to answer like that, it's like, because, yeah, okay, well, fine, lots of things are different. Like, having constipation is a definition of hell. Are you telling me your film's going to have constipation in it?
Like, so it's entirely up to me subjectively whether or not your film features hell.
Let me put this in context. Your film is about people creating a portal to the Judeo-Christian hell which releases demons. So if I ask you barefacedly, does this film have hell in it? I'm not mispronouncing hull. I'm not talking about someone stubbing a nail. Like, does it? Well, it depends on your definition. Fuck off. So press. press horse shit. It's total press junket crap that someone's briefed them with.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
We'll decide later after the film's been made.
We'll decide after the backlash.
Yeah.
And that's one of those ones that, like, if they did a sequel, they would have been like, oh no, they were from hell though, actually. And
Thing is, because they sort of do this with video games, don't they? I believe, but they would love to do this with films as well. Is to release it, then release updates.
The patch update. Well, do you know what? They did do that with Cats.
Oh, did they?
That actually happened with Cats, because people said you could see the cat's bumholes, and apparently it wasn't. It was where CGI textures were meeting, and there was a bit where you could see Judi Dench's human hands. So they did, after the cinema, patch update Cats. I think when, because it's district distribution, it may have even made it to cinemas in a patch updated version, which is a slippery fucking slope based on what happened to games.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, patch update for a fucking Ridley Scott movie, can't wait.
But they would.
Your
if they
definition of alien, get the fucked. You know what I'm talking about? Look at that. It says, she's got a ghost trap from Ghostbusters. Quickly.
Well, she sort of does it's almost like a Sarah Connor, isn't it? She crushes it in a.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You're aliened, motherfucker. You're alien covenanted, motherfucker. Oh, you knock its head off, mate. In your big
Again,
platform.
similar imagery, because that other lady was decapitated and stuff. But it's like, but for what? Like, what are we saying with that?
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. How also the hell is she surviving, dangling off that thing and smashing into the ground?
There was acid. There's a mist of acid pissing everywhere as well.
Yeah.
Right, she zipped up. Look.
Yeah, because there's obviously another alien, right?
Or possibly more. There's at least one, because it kills those because they all it gets to the ship, right? And they're like, everything's fine.
Yeah.
No more. Oh no.
Oh, we forgot we're in a film where anything can and will happen for no reason.
I cut my face to disguise myself. I also cut and dyed my hair.
Would you like a fetus?
Would you like a fetus? You've barely touched your fetus. Your filthy sin. Expel your filthy sin. Oh, God.
I am Walter.
Walter. My name's Walter.
Walter Cronkite.
God, there's still like fucking 20 minutes left, longer, actually. Like, to be fair, the good thing about a film such as this is that quite a lot of that is credits.
That's true. Yeah.
A good 9 minutes of credits of all the Korean VFX artists that slaved over it.
Yeah.
Would you like a bee in there?
Put broad beans on his face.
Oh, we got mushy peas for acid.
Why are they in little balls like that? I don't understand.
That's right. This is a normal thing that exists for burns. Mushy peas. All of our medical supplies come from Harry Ramsden's.
And then it turns into a paste. It's like, why didn't you just have a paste then?
Yeah, bean by bean by bean.
Placed bean by bean on just...
What, have they banned tubes of things? You can't get... Even if you try and grout your kitchen, you have to do it in bean form. It takes all fucking day. Give me some beans. I cut my face doing a pretending. I cut my face doing a pretending.
Bell end.
David cut my bell ends. Thanksgiving.
Oh my God.
Sausage and gravy. No, biscuits and gravy. Bell end. I'm gonna eat some grits. Cut his hand off. Did he keep his hand in his back pocket for because he wants to put it back on later?
Yes.
Because he had to acid his own hand off. Yeah. Oh, look at all these.
Yeah, that's true. He's that's another telltale sign. So it's obviously the performance, because he's sitting kind of bolt upright like David, but also like his hand doesn't look, because David's hand was melted off, wasn't it?
It was melted off. Yeah. He's just. Oh, I would have had. I would have binned off. In fact, this is probably what was in the original script. Here's what I would have done. The alien is gone, right? The alien is gone. There are no more alien in my movie. Instead, it's David's hand running around like Thing from the Addams Family, killing everybody with a knife. It's floating around.
As well. Yeah.
You're all gonna die. You're all gonna die. I'm doing a sad. I'm making pancakes.
as well, because I know a third film is implied at the end of this, but not why. And
there's no point being invested in Daniels, is there?
There's no point being invested in Daniels. There's no point in being invested in Shaw. There's no point. I mean, who are you supposed to be invested in? David.
We invested in Shaw. She died. We invested in Daniels. It doesn't look good for her, so we've got no reason to believe she'll survive, though she might.
I mean, I suppose
but
the
why
problem
should
is,
I believe that?
Do you think they've got this thing in their head that says basically because this is all prequel stuff, everyone knows that they all die because they can't, because if anyone survived this, then they would tell the human race about the alien, which we know they didn't. Because
apart from the ones that live in Antarctica or whatever.
Well, apart from the Mayans and the Aztecs or whatever. But then that's not.
And Dad Smile America. Oh, to be fair, they nuked that town.
Yeah.
That film rips off so much Return of the Living Dead. But anyway. Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, this is the thing. This is the thing with setting it before. And that's the thing with that fucking second Alien vs. Predator movie with nuking the town and stuff. And it's like, well, just do one in space.
Yeah.
Make it smaller. I don't want a field of aliens versus a field of predators. Just one versus the other and a bunch of colonial marines. I do.
Yeah.
You don't have to constantly wipe your fucking ass over who's seen what.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And then why does it all have to be set prior to this? Why has it all got to be modern day? I mean, I get why, because it's cheaper to shoot modern day. But like you say, make it smaller. Make it, you can still make it.
Shit. I've got to let the Amazon guy up.
Oh, okay.
Can you entertain the boys and girls?
I'll entertain the boys and girls with my terrible attitude that I've been expressing all the way through this while Richard accepts his package. Yeah, so obviously people are dying. One thing, actually, I brought this up about this film before, but they do like an alien POV, which Richard's back, everyone. So it's all good. Hello. I was just saying about the alien POV, which I thought was a really weird thing to do because it's kind of it sort of happens in Alien 3, doesn't it? But it's more like the camera's point of view. You sort of get a fisheye lens
because that's an ultra fisheye, isn't it? Yeah. It's kind of, that's a bit more ambiguous because it kind of implies perhaps it's the camera tracking. But I suppose really it is a perspective shot.
I was Jussie getting it on with.
They just wanted a bit of doggy style in the shower, but they're going to get impaled instead. Is it like the tail goes through them or something?
Yeah, like comes up under the, which is a motif obviously from Alien, isn't it? Because it's not John Hurt. What's the other guy?
Harry Dean
Stanton. It goes well, and it was supposed to be through Lambert's legs, wasn't it? Or is it the other way? No, sorry, it was supposed to be Harry Dean Stanton, but it was Lambert's legs.
Right. Yeah, and it seemed like because the fucking mouth comes out of his mouth. Because this is the thing. It has a really kind of corny slasher film approach. Because there's a huge argument that Alien's a slasher film, of course, but it's not a corny slasher film. It's not like Friday the 13th Part 47.
Yeah.
And it has this kind of like, which I don't think, there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself, but I don't think that's what Alien is.
No. Well, it's more existential, isn't it? I mean, you can read that into Friday the 13th and all that kind of thing. There is that allegory there.
But when it's like, someone having a fire extinguisher shoved up their bum and then the steam coming out their ears or whatever, which is what those got to.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for capitalism.
Those horrible people in big fire extinguisher.
They run everything, the fire extinguisher people.
Yeah.
Where is it? It's wasting our time. That's where it is. So I left after... I'm not sure if I told you. After the thing we last worked on together, the piece for, the comedy thing we did,
Mm-hmm.
I left my fucking lights and gels at Cambridge Station.
Oh, you're joking?
Nope.
Oh,
Only
no.
one light, my big single source, and this guy should be bringing me a new single source light right now. My 60 watter, the big one, got fucking left. And then I've contacted you can't contact Cambridge Station. There's a separate lost property office for every franchise. And it's like, shouldn't there just be a fucking room there with a phone in it? But no, you have to call fucking Trainee Corp 9000 7 different companies.
God, I hate that when it's like you need to get hold of it. Like I left something in a Tesco or I left something in a Asda or whatever, and it's like you can't just call that place. You've got to call some switchboard in the middle of Aberdeen.
So I have to fucking go back there next time I'm in Cambridge. Which, to be fair, I'm working there next week, and it's just something fucking go and speak to them. They'll probably be like, "Oh no, we sent that to the head office in Birmingham."
Oh God. Sorry, my wife has just texted me. She tried to call me earlier. I didn't realise. And our daughter's not well. She's not well. Okay, so we're all not well. Oh dear. Sorry.
Someone I was hanging out with last week tested positive. I'm negative, so it seems all right at the moment.
Yeah.
Saxophone.
I mean, I was negative.
Here you go. This is the alien, because it's all got that crinkly looking through frosted glass.
Sort of veiny look to it. It's weird.
Look at my veiny eyes. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I suppose it's kind of a callback to when he has the wormy eyes. Logan Marshall Green has the wormy eyes in the first one, I guess.
Well, I think that's supposed to be like his sperm coming out of his eye, which doesn't make any sense. It's
I come.
Yeah. Because, when you swallow something, it goes straight to your balls.
Also, the alien seems to be continuously dripping.
Yeah, which is a thing.
I think the reason it was dripping before, but it was standing underwater, wasn't it? But then I suppose like steam comes out of it, doesn't it?
Well, I think it drools a lot. I think was the point.
Well, that was like running off its head, though.
Yeah. No, I know, but like later on, I think.
It like has slimy, gloppy glops.
That's right.
Look at my gloppy glops. Yeah, that's right. Laser shoes, baby.
Wave of the future.
That and being blinded by the LEDs inside your helmet. Yeah, look at his wormy eyes.
I don't get that, but
Do you know what this needs? I think it needs the Terminator Genesis thing of an alien driving a lorry.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that would.
If he drives off into space with Daniels, they become friends and they solve crimes.
Truckers in space.
It's that bit from Alien. Do you remember Alien, the film Alien?
I hate that as well. It's just walking around like a bloke.
Yeah. Like it should have a briefcase.
Yeah. Again, overexposing it, and the trouble is that then implies that you have to come up with some backstory, you have to come up with some motive, you have to come up with something. No, you don't.
This is definitely one of those commentaries where we've
just lost it,
reached our wits' end like before it even started. You know what I mean?
You might hear a small child crying in a minute because I've just got apologies if that happened.
Sick baby.
Yeah, we're all sick.
Quarantine house.
Yeah.
I'm on my own. Flatmate's been in Mexico for a week. I'm flying solo.
Naked cooking.
Naked everything. I've rubbed it down to a knob.
Small cone poking out. It's conical now.
Looks like a Turkish delight. That's what it's like.
See, all this stuff as well, it's like, okay, so you're doing what was done before, but with more modern techniques.
Yeah, there's nothing new here, is there?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
And again, we've had to rush to have this alien film happen at the end.
Yeah, and but with the horrible beat at the end that basically it's all for naught.
Yeah, it's just pretty. The thing is, if the rest of the film, I don't know if that ending would spoil any version of this. If this was like this really amazing film, and then it's kind of like that Terminator 3 ending thing where it's kind of gives you a slap in the face. It's kind of like, oh, okay, at least you had some kind of balls there.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if there's a version of this. If the rest of the film was amazing, and then maybe the Daniels thing would be a real bummer, or maybe it'd go, oh, I want to see if Daniels gets out of this. But then still, you can't trust them because of fucking what happened last time.
Yeah.
Clang. Driving my digger into space.
That's. Well, good luck colonising wherever it is you're going now, because you done got no diggers. But you've got laser boots, so I guess it'll be okay.
That's good enough, yeah.
Why are you smiling? Why are you happy?
Everybody's dead, mate.
Yeah, I don't really get that.
It's a real shit show. What happens to Danny McBride then? David just fucking... He doesn't successfully get in a pod as well, does he?
Yeah, I don't know.
My name's Tennessee. I have a hat. I drink Jack Daniels and a fourth Tennessee thing. I don't know enough about Tennessee
cattle or whatever.
Yeah, whatnot.
I said, sir.
Oh, look, look.
But then I guess he's just going to get bummed by David as well.
Exactly, yeah. One guy's put eggs in your bum out.
Through the bum port in the bottom.
Bum port? Is it bum port compatible?
No, it was just USB-C.
I'm going to say things that are ambiguous, like bell end.
Yeehaw, Bellend.
Get in the pod. I am Walter. I am Walter. Before sleep, milk.
Would you like some?
We will go to colony soon. Sweet dreams. 404, dream not found.
Enjoy your file not found.
Would you like ambiguity? Ambiguity.
Beep boop, beep boop. I mean, night. Oh, by the way, Walter. Yes. When we get there, can we have a cup of tea? What's a cup of tea? Dun 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 dun.
You can have oil. Da, 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 da.
The cabin on the lake.
I mean, this is great. Like, in isolation, this is great. Her performance at the realization of face.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, everyone in this is really good. You know.
Same with the first one. Like, it's tremendous cast.
Yeah.
Splendid and tremendous. Oh, you naughty man! Don't let the bed bugs shite.
You naughty man made my man.
Naughty man made man.
I'll tuck in the children. Oh, yeah, hasn't he been keeping? He swallowed them or something.
Yes, they're in his robo gut.
In my gut.
Why has it got a security code that works?
Yeah, exactly. All right,
David's
David,
can go
haven't
anywhere.
heard from you in a while.
Oh, hello, mother. I've come for your fighters. That's right.
That's
We're gonna play
right.
some Wagner. DJ Otzi, ooh baby. The Venga bus is coming.
Shaggy, it wasn't me.
She caught me red-handed on the kitchen floor.
A little bit of readers, all I need.
I am a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Who wrote Barbie Girl, David?
I mean, the thing is as well, like, his motivation might as well be based on that.
Well, yeah. I mean, because it's basically someone going, I like books. Like, it's not. I
Yeah.
like statues and opera because I'm clever. It's like, okay, you need a bit more to this. Okay.
He misread a thing, and then
Yes.
I suppose it's sort of Hitlerian in that, you know, he misinterprets something. What are they in as well? Like some special. Oh, who cares?
Resin.
Who cares?
Resin. A
Why
glass
am I
egg.
asking? Who cares?
They look like you would get them in one of those 50p things at the supermarket to entertain your kids.
Yeah, it's like a scorpion paperweight or something.
Ooh, baby, I want to know. You my girl. Oh yeah, of course, because all the colonists are here. I forgot that. Because it was not. They were just like the ones.
They
that
were the
woke
ones who
the
woke
crew.
up. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So he's going to impregnate them with the aliens and
Just make a planet full of
just
aliens.
hang out with some aliens. Like, why would you want to do that? Because he just loves the Ozymandias thing
Yeah,
that he's
'cause it-
literally interpreted. But then who cares?
I see you've taken my advice about being a pretentious douchebag. Literally.
Literally. Dear, sorry, I'm sniffly.
It's fine. Don't apologise. This sucks.
Security code 315456F.
Oil. We're nearly out of oil. I mean food.
Hey, David, did you pick up any milk? Finn. She said, "There's no Finn.
Spaceship floating.
Did you pick up any milk? We're almost out. No."
Oh fuck.
Well, that was awful.
Yes, it sucks as much to remember. I don't know if we had the same wacky energy as last time when we did
I'm sure I did.
Prometheus. Duncan's ill and I'm dead inside, so that's, that's what caused that.
Yeah. Yes, but having watched the Batman, it caused some sort of personality osmosis to occur. Yeah.
Oh, the fucking Batman. It's a genius masterpiece. Or is it just really long? You decide.
Long, ponderous, tedious crap.
Farts, huffing crap of the world.
So, I mean, you know, I think I don't know if it's a product of age, but then I don't know if it is a product of age because I don't think anyone young is watching stuff like this and going, "Oh, great," you know. I don't get who this is for. Like a lot of these things, I'm finding that more and more now. I'm going, who was this made for? Because I don't, your casual movie going audience is going to go, oh yeah, the aliens showed up. Okay, right. And okay, because so many people experience, and this is not to throw shade on people in general, but that so many people experience films just through the procedural aspects of it. It's like, oh, so that's how that happened. Oh, right, okay. So as long as A to B makes sense, they're kind of satisfied with it. But it's like even this doesn't do that, and it's pontificating over nothing, and and I think it's deeply unsatisfying, even if you're the kind of how can I put this nicely? McDonald's guzzling cretin who goes to
sat right here, man.
who goes to, no, I'm joking, but because I am one of these people too, but you go to the cinema just to be entertained. It's like, well, who and like aliens, if you're one of these gung-ho aliens people, which I am because I really love that film. If you're going into this expecting to find out how the alien got his hump or whatever, it's like, well, you're not going to. And it's, so even if you were going into it going, oh, finally, the mysteries of Prometheus will be revealed.
Well, I think this is the thing. I've said this many, many times before. Like, I don't think. Firstly, Fox wanted to make this some kind of prestige franchise, right? Because it was all a bit silly, but this is very highbrow. You see, it's a very highbrow intellectual take on Alien. Was the idea, and they wanted it to be kind of like one of those big Warner Brothers kind of prestige movies. Yeah. So they made these things, and I think the people who suffer, as I've mentioned many times, like the average person is not a massive cinephile. They're not a person from the internet. There's someone on a Friday night. There are many, many, many people who decide what film they're going to watch in the lobby. Yeah. And it's a night out with their partner or their kids or their parents, or their fucking cousins, friends, you name it. There are people who decide by looking at a few trailers on the Friday afternoon or lunchtime at work and then go Friday night. They don't sit around pouring everything like the rest of us do. And that's where quite a lot of the money comes from. And then there's good buzz after that first weekend. Those people who don't really follow all the stuff, they get the buzz from like their geeky mates or whatever, or whoever in their life. And they go check it out with their partner or their mum or their cousin. And that's where most of the money comes from. And again, if you were just sort of like, oh shit, I remember seeing Aliens, I like Aliens, there's this new Alien film come out, you didn't know what Prometheus was because they pretended it wasn't one and they called it Prometheus. You go with your fucking partner on a Saturday night, you watch this and go, what the fuck was that? Like, who's this robot guy? Who's this dead woman? Like, what does any of this mean? Yeah. And it assumes an investment on something that isn't worthy of it.
Well, quite. And it is essentially the first film again.
Yeah,
just with more guff thrown at it, but it's essentially from the plot beats are the same thing.
Well, it's the first film, and then for the last half hour, it's the first film. Just really quickly.
Yeah,
it's like insanely quickly. I'm really.
No, but even
glad
all the plot beats are the same. It's like people are going somewhere. There's a distress call or whatever, a call from a planet. They go
down to the planet. They find a croissant.
Some of them are infected. Blah blah blah. But it just happens at a far more sort of. It's weird. So it happens faster, but yet it takes forever. It's like we'll happily have things go in. Spores go in your ear and an alien comes out your ass in 5 seconds flat. But we're going to spend half an hour with David talking to Walter, to the same person talking to himself for God knows how long about a bunch of stuff that's revealed to be a mistake. Ultimately it's no, you're wrong about that. Like that he's based his whole ethos is Ozymandias, the king of kings.
Well, that's it. Stand around quoting Ozymandias as if that makes it clever.
Yeah,
that's the thing, and it's just thunderously empty.
But it shows David up to. It shows obviously the point is that he's evil because he's misunderstood these things, and it shows him up to be wrong.
And it's like it's the Hitler thing, right? It's like Hitler misinterpreting Nietzsche. And
exactly. Yeah. So fine, but again, it's like, why? Like, what? Who? And oh no, because my ultimate aim is to have my own colony of the aliens. It's like.
For reasons best known to myself.
Yeah, and so is that what the third film is? It's just a bunch of colonists waking up having been impregnated with aliens, and then through the bum port, and then
through the bum port,
and then that's it. It's just ridiculous.
Whilst a Poundland Peter O'Toole dances around to DJ Otzi.
Yeah, Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, dreadful film. So thanks for joining us. 2016?
Filmed in Australia.
New South Wales, Australia. Did you film in Australia? No. Yeah. 2017 it came out. Okay, that makes more sense.
It's probably actually in Australia. It's actually been shown as a public service piece about the dangers of bringing organic food,
yes, true. Yeah.
plants and all
After
that.
Johnny Depp smuggled his dog in. Satire. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Oh,
There's Alien Covenant. It's me, Alien Covenant. I hated it very much.
Me too. Oh, right.
Oh, it's just the crushing resignation of it all.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh God.
Oh well. If you've suffered through that with us, well done. Thank you very much for all that. Thank you for listening to our. I think we summed it up pretty much in the first 10 minutes, and then proceeded to just whinge about that for the remaining hour and 50. But if you enjoyed it, please do give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on podcast, give us a rating and review. That always really helps us out. And thanks. Bye.